Oh, hey there, partner. Sorry, I pulled an all-nighter last night, researching how important it is to get a good night's sleep. Yeah, I know, it's so important. And yet I learned that about 1 in 3 U.S. adults doesn't get the minimum 7 hours recommended by the CDC, which has now declared insufficient sleep a public health problem. It turns out the U.S. loses, by one estimate, up to $400 billion every year because of sleepy people just, having accidents at the factory or at the hospital or planes, trains, automobile accidents. And some people even link some of history's worst disasters, like the Exxon Valdez oil spill or the Challenger explosion, to insufficient sleep. So I'm wondering, how do we get people to pay more attention, right? How do we get people to turn off their screens an hour earlier and go to bed instead? I think we gotta make it personal. I think we gotta really hit people where it hurts. And I came across 3 arguments that I think do just that. Because as it turns out, insufficient sleep is making us sick, it's making us fat, and it's making us ugly. It will come as zero surprise that sleep is important to repairing your body when it gets damaged or sick. But you might not realize that it's also important to preventing you from getting sick in the first place. So let's imagine our immune system as like a standing army. We will need to feed those troops, and we'll need to give them provisions and allow them time for training exercises and taking inventory and making repairs to the chopper.
Get to the chopper! Come on!
Which is what sleep does, right? It provides the right conditions for your immune system to maintain this sort of homeostasis. One really important soldier in the front lines of this army is called the natural killer cell. It's kind of like a killer T cell. One of its main roles is to go out and find tumorous cells, or cells that have been infected with a virus, and murder, death, kill them.
Death, kill, murder, death.
And it turns out that getting just 1 night of 4 hours of sleep reduces your natural killer cell activity to 72% of your baseline. That is massive, right? So I like to imagine my natural killer cells as being little Arnold Schwarzeneggers from the Terminator, T-1000s with miniguns cruising around my bloodstream, just taking out the trash. The ultimate defense to keep me safe. But when I don't sleep properly, it's like taking one of Arnold's arms off in an industrial accident. Now, is he going to stop? No, partner. He's a Terminator. He will never stop. But those battles against really dangerous enemies are going to be a bit dicey. Not getting proper sleep also reduces our body's ability to build a immunological memory to these new invaders. Right? So if you go and you get a flu vaccine or a COVID vaccine and you don't sleep well that night, your body will not produce as many antibodies as it would normally. And so you will have a reduced ability to recognize those invaders if you should be exposed to them in the future. It's no secret that we have an obesity problem in the US. And there are many studies now that link poor sleep to an increased risk of weight gain and obesity. Sleep seems to have a modulatory effect on 2 hormones that control our appetite. The first of these hormones is called leptin. It's secreted by our fat cells, and it basically is a messenger. it tells our body that we have enough energy stores and to not go out and seek additional calories. The way I remember this is through a story. So one day I was driving down the freeway and I hit this patch of washboard road. Suddenly my tummy starts shaking violently and I felt like Santa Claus and his bowl full of jelly. So to me that was a signal coming from my fat cells to tell me that I had enough on reserve and that I should skip that subway up ahead and maybe head to the 24-hour fitness instead. Now, the second hormone is called ghrelin, aka the hunger hormone. And ghrelin is essentially a message from your stomach to tell your body that it is expecting food. It's mealtime, you know. So not having enough sleep does two things. It turns down the signal coming from those fat cells that are yelling at you,
Put the cookie down!
and it turns up the signal coming from your stomach that's saying,
Feed me, Seymour! I'm hungry!
so it's double damage, partner. Our neurochemistry is such that we are confused about the need to eat. Some other researchers think that a far more important factor that sort of eclipses this hormonal influence is just the fact that you are up longer and you have more time to engage in what is called hedonic snacking. You know, just eating because it feels good. And I don't know about you, but I have been eating cookies all night. We've all heard of beauty sleep before, but usually when we talk about it, it's tongue-in-cheek. But actually, in a way, all sleep is beauty sleep because sleep is a restorative, regenerative process. You have increased blood flow and you have increased levels of growth hormone and things that help to repair your collagen. I came across a recent study called The Negative Effects of Restricted Sleep on Facial Appearance and Social Appeal. In it, the researchers photographed a bunch of people under two conditions. One in which they slept 8 hours a night for 2 nights, and one in which they slept 4 hours a night for 2 nights. And then they showed all of these photographs to a bunch of strangers. Not only were the sleep-restricted pictures judged to be more tired than the 8-hour versions, they were also judged to be less healthy, less attractive, and the people said they were even less likely to want to hang out with those individuals. So maybe there is a fine line between looking tired and looking sick or even mentally ill. And researchers speculate that symptoms of a tired face might also activate sort of a disease avoidance mechanism. You could probably see it in my face right now, partner. Things like hanging eyelids, red eyes, swollen eyes, dark circles under my eyes, paler skin, more wrinkles, more fine lines, and more droopy corners of the mouth. Also, people tend to rate you as looking sadder, and no one wants to be around a downer, do they? So this could lead to a pretty substantial downward spiral, if you ask me.
You know, you don't get a lot of good sleep. You go out, you try to socialize, you don't feel your best.
People don't want to really socialize with you because you don't look your best. You interpret that as not having worth, being rejected, right?
Coming home with even more stress, getting less sleep, and
The cycle just exacerbates.
Given how much we all spend on supplements and fad diets and facial creams and all of these products that are supposed to help us look and feel our best, is it paradoxical that we should all be so willing to sacrifice the one thing that our body naturally does to help us look and feel our best? So let's recap real quick, partner. Insufficient sleep can make us sick because it impairs our immune system. It reduces the activity of natural killer cells and decreases the effectiveness of vaccines. It can make us fat because it increases our appetite and gives us more opportunities for snacking. And it can make us ugly because we are just skipping out on a critical period of tissue repair that only happens during sleep. And this is really just the tip of the iceberg in terms of health benefits of sleep. So if you or someone you know is not routinely getting 7 to 9 hours a night, hopefully this gives you a few reasons to reconsider. And before you go, partner, tell me, if your natural killer cells could resemble any super awesome action hero, who would it be? Now get out of here. I gotta get my beauty rest, partner. I'll see you next time on The Joy of Thinking.
Get to the chopper! Come on! Come on! Get to the chopper! Get to the chopper! Get to the chopper! Come on! You can do it! You can do it! Come on! Get to the chopper!